Let's get started with the poetry, and the first poem in your syllabus in Flamingo textbook is My Mother at 66. You would have done it many times before your half yearly and pre-boards. So let's get started with it very quickly along with some test paper questions. Okay, so what are the themes of this particular poem? Aging is natural and inevitable. Daughter's love and concern for her aging mother as she sees her while they are driving to Kochi airport in Kerala. The fear of losing a loved one. This one, very important. Contrast between youth and old age. Sprinting trees, the different metaphors which have been used, and merry children versus stillness of the mother. The fast-paced life versus inevitable decline. The theme of movement, the moving cars, the children sprinting, the houses moving, right? Confessional poetry expressing inner emotion, strong emotional bond between mother and daughter. Now, what is the plot summary? Now, the poet is driving to Kochi airport with her mother beside her. She notices her mother's pale, corpse-like face and feels the pain. To distract herself, she looks outside and sees young trees and lively children symbolizing youth and agility and energy. At the airport, after the security check, she sees her mother's pale face again like a late winter's moon. She feels a childish fear of losing her mother. Despite her fear, she smiles and reassures her mother, saying, "See you soon, Amma." What's the message of the poem? Pain and anxiety of seeing a loved one age. The contrast between the vibrancy of youth and the frailty of old age. Coping with fear of separation by putting on a brave face. All you need to, if you can take a screenshot or you just kind of note down these keywords. I'm not asking you to note down all the words. The note, not the notes for this. Iske notes nahi hai. But many of the poem ke notes are there on the Study with Sudhir Instagram page reels. Okay, all of them were put many months back. Okay, so it's all there, so you don't have to worry. All these would be there. Unbreakable bond between mother and daughter iske nahi hai. Stream of consciousness style captures the emotions of the poet. Now, what are the poetic devices? Similes here when you compare to a corpse and a late winter's moon. The imagery, the personification of the young trees sprinting, very important. The contrast, the stillness inside the car versus the activity. The contrast is probably the most important poetic device which has been used in this poem. Then there is repetition and enjambment. Okay, the rhyme scheme, there is no rhyme scheme because it's a free verse which kind of flows freely. Okay, let's look at some MCQs. What is the poet trying to do in the lines below? So this is the from the poem, short poem. Let's look at the questions. Confessing her feelings for her mother who was getting old, narrating the discomfort. Keep your book open so that it's easy for you to look at the lines again. See, this is like a test. You're testing yourself a day before the examination, and that's what you should ideally be doing. And that's why I keep my videos very short so that you can go through them one by one quickly. Okay, you read a poem, revise a poem, go through the test paper video at 1.5x speed, quickly, done. Then, so 10 minute में खत्म हो जाएगा. 10-15 मिनट का वीडियो होगा, 10 मिनट में खत्म हो जाएगा. Move to the next story or poem. So the correct answer to this is A. Why has the poet used winter to describe her mother when you are talking about, right? So, yeah, 2, because option D. To indicate that her mother was in the final stage of her life. Winter is usually December of her life, November of her life, winter of her life, we say, to convey the ending of the time, just like November, December or winter is like the end of the calendar year. Let's look at some extract based questions. So this is the first extract, right? You're familiar with these lines. Let me go through the question. Now discuss the use of the word van in the above extract. Now in the extract based question, you can get questions and answers, or you could get MCQs. Van refers to the waning of the moon in the period between full moon and new moon. Similarly, the mother. So when you get words like this, technical words, ensure that you always explain the technical meaning of that particular word and then link it to the way in which it has been used in the particular poem or story. So similarly, the mother's face has lost its vigor and shrunk. She looks pale, suggests the impending death and irrevocable loss. It is a metaphor. So if you write like this, nothing will prevent you from scoring full marks. What has prompted the poet to use the expression, "my childhood's fear"? Every child fears losing his or her most valuable treasure in the world, in most cases, the parents. The mother is a pillar of hope and support and an epitome of unconditional love. Epitome means a symbol of unconditional love. The mother's pale and wan face is a depiction of the inevitability of nature, because that's what happens. Aging is part of nature. Keeping in mind the central idea of the text. Now, this I found an interesting question. Find out the title that brings out the similar idea. The Brook, I'm Getting Old Now, Hope, and a Psalm of Life. This is I'm Getting Old Now. The word ache has been used as an adverb, an adjective, a noun, or a conjunction. The correct answer is noun. Let's look at the second extract. Comment on the use of the literary device used in the above extract. By using ashen like that of a corpse, that's what it's used out here. The poet wants to convey that death was knocking on the door, reducing the mother's face to ashes. Find out the sentence that makes use of the same literary device used in the above extract. Now, ashen like that of a corpse. This is a simile because it uses the word like. So here you see, simile uses either like or as. So here you see which one is the thing. Edla's heart was as pure as the driven snow from the rat trap. So it is option number 3. The word ashen denotes the idea of the ashes that remain after cremation. Option B. Option 2. The poet realized with pain that option 4. This may be the final meeting with her mother. Identify the sentence that is not true. Wherever you find this not true, just be a little more careful in identifying that particular sentence. So option 3 is not true. Let's look at some subjective questions that I've written. This is from the sample paper of 2023. State the common issue faced by most of the aged. Now you see here, it's talking about a general statement. So you need to kind of be careful with that. The common issue faced by most of the aged is declining health and loss of energy. It is also the separation from their near and dear ones. The result is loneliness and a despondent feeling of being left behind that makes their life listless, as if they are waiting for death. In the poem, the 66-year-old mother of the poet is at such a stage of her life where her daughter is a mere visitor. So what you need to do is to link it to the poem, pick up the themes from the poem and relate it to the life around us when you get a question like this. So as I said, this is from the sample paper of 2023. So nothing prevents you from getting questions like this in your examination. The poet feels uncomfortable facing the fact that her mother may not live for long. What does it show about human beings? Her mother's demise has been a childhood fear with the poet. She's not alone because death as a finality to life is a reality most humans find it difficult to come to terms with, because you think that your parents will live forever. That's always the case, right? The fear of losing a parent is a universal theme, and the loss of a parent is particularly difficult to bear because not only they are your guiding force, they are also people who wish the best for you in all circumstances. They always have your back. And protective light, you also come to think that they would be around you forever. Why has the mother been compared to the late winter's moon? This is something which was there before also, but this is a much more of a detailed answer, because the late winter's moon is dim and pale white in color. It lacks shine and strength and looks hazy and obscure. Winter is the last season of the year and is synonymous with lifelessness and dormancy and end of life. The poet has made this comparison because her mother too is in the last phase of her life. Do you think the title of the poem is apt? Now, this is an important question. The title of the poem is apt, though the poem directly does not make a reference to the age of the poet's mother. It immediately points to the fact of old age and the poet's realization that time has flown quickly and old age is upon her mother. It ties with the central theme of the poem, which is advancing age and the fears associated with it, and separation and death. It's a poem about the nostalgia of the past, the time spent with her mother, and the fear of the future without her. With this, I come to the end of the first poem, My Mother at 66. I hope this helped you in a quick revision, understanding the main themes, more importantly, understanding the kind of phrases that you should use, the keywords that you should use while you're writing your answers. And I'm very positive videos like this will really help you fine tune your preparation at the last minute. Okay, tata, bye bye. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much.